Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Testing 1 2 3. Yeah, we have levels, and we are recording. I'm here with Dr. Boyce at the end of the All Black National Conference, and I just wanted to get some of your reflections of this event that it was yours in the making. You and your brother started it, and now your lovely wife plays a critical role being the therapist for people to get out of their comfort zone and be conscious in their financial journey. What are your reflections of the event so far? How many years has it been, and what are your reflections of this go-around?
This is the 9th All Black National Convention that we've had, and we started in Atlanta in 2015.
Okay.
And it came to me in a dream. I literally went to sleep, took a nap, and I listened to the dreams that come to me in my naps because I kind of believe that that's the universe, God, and the subconscious kind of working together to send a message that needs to be heard.
Really?
And yeah. Not only did the idea to have the conference come to mind, but the name of it popped into my head. And when an idea is that clear to me, that tells me I have to do it.
God, I could totally relate to that.
Yeah, it was crazy, and so I called my friend Dr. Lene Javette. She wasn't doctor at that time.
Okay,
and I said, so Lene, I have an idea. Let's create a convention. We're going to call it the All Black National Convention, and I want to do it in 3 weeks. And we had no money. It's 3 weeks. It was crazy. Yeah. So we went to the Shrine of the Black Madonna in Atlanta.
Wait. Did the 3 week time span come in your brain? I mean, in your dream as well?
It came from my lack of experience. like sometimes you're too stupid to know something's impossible.
That's how things happen, though.
Yeah.
That's how things happen. Welcome to Rhythm of Life. I'm Steve Ordower. I had the distinct honor of covering the All Black National Convention held just outside of Chicago in Lombard, Illinois, in October of this year, 2024. And I felt as if I was invited to an important family meeting that was filled with the spirit of love, self-reflection, critical thinking, combined with a willingness to have tough conversations, empowerment, and an absolute commitment to the Black community. Spearheaded by Dr. Boyce Watkins, who created the Black Business School that provides culturally relevant business education to the Black community. This convention's purpose is to chart the course of the future of the Black community. In his words, by educating our children, building economic independence, and supporting our own, we secure the freedom, success, and spiritual elevation of generations to come. This convention is about taking ownership of our future. Over 60 experts from around the world came to share their wisdom over 3 days on topics such as economics, education, health, politics, and spirituality. This is the final episode of our 4-part series of this extraordinary event. If you haven't listened to the first 3 episodes, I highly encourage you to do so. In this episode, we hear from Dr. Boyce Watkins, the founder of this event, getting his reflections and the significance and impact of this convention that provides a powerful foundation for shifting perspectives for current and future generations.
Yeah, man. We pulled it off at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. I called a bunch of people I knew, started letting everybody know it was going to happen.
Where is that located?
It's in Atlanta.
Atlanta, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And it was great, man. It was the energy was off the chain. Uh-huh. It was very primitive compared to now. Like now we've gotten a little bougie in terms of, nicer hotels and stuff.
Sure.
Because I don't know, we wanted to give people like a nicer experience, like something that's that has some class to it. Not that first one wasn't class. It was definitely more grassroots.
Right.
But I kind of wanted a blend. I want people to be comfortable and sort of just see affiliation. I wanted our space to kind of be one that was, I don't know. Just because you're an activist doesn't mean everything has to always be grimy and hard. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So, right. So,
yes.
so since that time, man, we do it every year, and every year I have the same emotions. Every year it's like, oh, the convention's coming, so there's excitement, but then there's like the trepidation of like, oh my God, this is so expensive, and are people gonna come? Are they gonna even care?
Mm-hmm.
And I literally feel those same emotions every year, and then the closer the day gets, the more those emotions get heightened.
Okay.
And then there's like a point where it's like, okay, everything's done, everything's paid for, everything's planned, let's do it. And then I have like a woo-sigh, and I just shut it down and say, okay, game time, let's have a convention, and I allow myself to enjoy it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the whole.
Well, I mean, what are your reflections now? I mean, the impact is incredible. You are shifting perspectives and the ripple effects. I mean, in my humble opinion, coming from an outside perspective, you're throwing major stones in the ocean, and the ripples are going to be reverberating for many, many, many years, decades, generations. I mean, does that ever hit you?
I think about it, and I
mean, on an emotional, spiritual level. I mean, because if I were in your shoes, I would be bawling my eyes out. Honestly, yeah. I mean, I would. I mean, it's incredible. Your commitment to your community is really something to behold. That's why I was asking you. I mean, it's really incredible. And I'd be a mess if I were in the last day. I'd just be like, oh my God, I can't believe what I created.
Well, and I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. And I receive it and I appreciate it.
Sure.
I try not to think about it too much though, because I think sometimes if we get to the point where we're celebrating ourselves and our achievements too much, it can take away your humility, and that's what happens before the fall,
Yeah, for sure.
And I always try to remember that I'm part of something bigger than myself. At some point, my time will be over, and it may get to a point where younger people forget me. They may be using the same ideas or building on something we created and not even remember where it came from. Think about that. Happens all the time, right? We'll find out that people were doing something in the 50s that led to something in the 70s, 80s, and 90s that we take for granted. Because most of what exists around us is there because somebody made some sort of tremendous sacrifice. Like if you look at the highway system and how easy it is to go from city to city on these gigantic highways all across the country, and I just think about how much work it took, how much money people spent, some people spent their whole lifetime building out this highway system for future generations, and we just get on the highway and don't even think about it. We just act like it was there. And it wasn't. Some people had to plan it and have a vision and build it. And that goes for everything that exists around us. So to some extent, I do see the opportunity and the impact, it's a privilege. It's a hell of a privilege. But it's kind of like, yeah, that's what we're supposed to do, And during your time, I think you're supposed to do the best you can with what you got. I do have a lot of confidence in what I know about financial stuff. I don't think I know everything, but I know a lot. And and what I believe is that force is mass times acceleration. So if you're talking about having an impact, I've got a lot of mass, meaning intellectual mass in the area of finance. So now I just got to accelerate. Just go as hard as I can. Almost like when Tiger Woods was the best golfer on earth, and it was really cool to watch because not that I'm anywhere near Tiger Woods, but you remember when Tiger, he had this amazing skill, and he was also extremely bold. He would take these like shots that nobody else would take, and sometimes he would do amazing things with that because you take this unbelievable skill with unbelievable courage. And then you had maximum impact. Right. And I think sometimes that's the problem that we have is the people that have the skill or the mass, if you will, they don't have the courage to act. Right. Like you got all this power and you're just sitting on it because you're scared of making the wrong move or whatever. And I just say, no, I'm not holding anything back. Every day, my goal is to try to live every day like it's my last. And because every moment that you're alive is infinitely deep if you want it to be. Or it could just be another day if that's what you want it to be too. But I don't want any day of my life to just be another day.
Well, I love that you just threw your hat in the ring and you're like, oh, we got to do it in 9 days? What was it? The original?
3 weeks.
3 weeks or something. Yeah. That's insane. That is insane.
It
is. How many speakers did you have in that first one?
Oh, we had a lot. We had about
really?
We had about 5-6 panels and speakers. I don't know how we did. I literally that's like my version of like the Egyptian pyramids, like in terms of my memory, where I'm like, I have no idea how we pulled it off. I really want to go back and look at emails and stuff that I was writing at that time to be because I'm like, there's no way I did this in 3. How in the hell? Now I can't imagine doing it in 5 months.
Oh, and I mean the series of talks and breakout sessions were unbelievable. Anywhere from liberating the mind to quantum wealth theory by that young
Aja Kirkendall.
Yes,
yeah,
she's really interesting. I thought she looks like a lot younger than she is, and then I said, But the wisdom that was coming out of her, I said, "How old are you?" She said, "Oh, I'm 35." I was like, "Oh, that makes sense. No wonder." But she looks like she's 20.
Oh, age is awesome.
She looks so young, but boy, what she was throwing down, particularly in her seminar. I interviewed her, but I also listened to her seminar in terms of, and it's right in line with everything you talk about all the time, which is consciousness. Consciousness. Because if you are not conscious, you will be programmed to do things that are not to your benefit all the time. And this whole convention seems like one big, humongous, powerful consciousness exercise. That's what it seems like. And it seems it's a safe space for people to be honest, particularly in the political talk, which was, I was sitting there watching it and I was thinking, boy, you must really trust me to be in this space, because this is a delicate, honest family affair. What stood out to you in that talk or anything else in the conventions thus far?
I like the energy.
Yeah.
Everything that we do is built around love, and I try to make the messaging simple but clear. Like I'm not going to say something just deliberately ambiguous like hope and change or something, like or forward, right. No disrespect to Barack. I like Barack, but that we know what politicians do.
Sure.
But I wanted a message that could easily resonate and multiply, that was simple enough for even kids to understand, but very clear, and really not something that's going to be too invasive for people, something we can agree on. So it kind of comes down to, do you believe that Black people should have better mental and physical health, better relationships, and more wealth and financial security? That's it. Simple. You're not going to disagree with me on any of those things,
right.
If you care about the Black community.
Right.
So by keeping it simple, it allows for a broad range of conversations to happen. And they generally sort of circulate around this idea, like, do you put the Black community first? And so if you talk about, the space, it is a sacred space to me. I do see it that way.
For sure.
And I don't want anybody to disrupt that. But you not being Black does not, in my opinion, invalidate you from being in the space. Some people feel that way because it's called the All Black National Convention. And what that means is that the agenda is all Black.
Right.
It doesn't mean you have to be Black. As long as you're cool with it, like, okay. Like I don't encourage people to hate anybody, right? So if there is a person, like, I'm sure when you came in, maybe a couple people might have had a reaction, but most people, like, no.
My gosh, I was met with nothing, warmth. And it was like I felt like I was part of a family. It was unbelievable. It was very, very warm across the board, for sure. But yet it's for a very specific audience, which is really amazing. And you said that you always lead with love, and it's very simple and clear that this is about empowering Black people in a variety of ways, which is great. But yet what was so striking about that political conversation in the panel is that people did not totally agree. And there were some very passionate viewpoints, and there was a variety and a range of those perspectives. But people weren't hateful toward one another, and they were distinguishing between the nuances of what they were saying. And it was a really nuanced and powerful and helpful conversation, as opposed to a lot of the nonsense that we listen to in the media. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's, I hate saying it, but not everybody is interested in learning how to have a nuanced conversation that's respectful.
Yeah.
I think, politics, it's designed to create a civil war in the Black community to deliberately divide us. No different from what they did in Vietnam to the Vietnamese people, what they did in Iran, which caused the Iranians to go in and kill everybody during the revolution in the 70s. They've done it with the Hutus and the Tutsis. I mean, you go around the world, and the goal is always to divide people, and my feeling is, like, look, I think it's okay to disagree, just like it's okay for you and I to play against each other in basketball.
Right.
But the game should not be more important than our friendship.
Exactly.
Right. So the same thing is true with the politics. Okay, you be a Democrat and I'll be a Republican. Okay, or vice versa. And we could talk about it. We can even have a heated debate about it.
Right.
But when it's done, you gotta kind of make sure that the fire doesn't blow up the engine, so to speak. Almost like how a rocket is like a controlled explosion. Like you create this combustion, and if it gets destabilized, it blows up the whole rocket, right? But if it's stable, if you maintain the stability, then the rocket goes pretty far, especially if you target it, right? So to some extent, the power of these conversations can help us all grow in a lot of great ways, but you got to keep the rocket engine stable, so to speak.
And again, you got to be comfortable with this uncomfortableness, because that's how you grow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you're amazing. What your wife was asking me, like, well, what had you find out about Boyce? And I said, I don't exactly know, but there's something that I noticed, a pattern in me. I'm attracted to authenticity. People who are not like they're talking the talk, but they're not walking the walk. I have no time. You're walking the walk, and it's refreshing, and it's beautiful, and I love that. And thanks again for having me here. I definitely view it as a privilege and a really incredible opportunity, a peek inside this incredibly powerful cultural experience. And I was wondering, before we wrap up, and I know you have a lot of stuff on your plate tonight, but what were there a couple of things, maybe one or two, three things that really stood out to you at this convention that you just saw it and you're like, man, I mean, for me, like when the kids came in to the big, and I'm like, that's the generation, that's the next generation. And one of the panelists said that, I think they were talking about family, and your wife was the moderator, and he said, well, I had something to say, but then I looked at the kids, and I thought about that too. And it's just so many things struck me, but anything that stuck out for you that really just hit you?
Yeah, well, the kids hit me.
Yeah.
When I was about to give them their award, and I just started reiterating this idea that, those kids are our kids. I don't know why, but I got choked up when I said that. Yeah, I had to stop myself, from getting too carried away, because I was like, no, those are our damn kids, and I mean that, and so that moment stood out. I think I learned the value of my team. I mean, I've always known the value of my team, but I was heavily reminded of that. Like, I have super creative people that just did this really fancy stuff, and I was like, wow, I get to take credit for this. This wasn't my idea. I can't even come up with this. So you go to the ball and stuff like that, and what they're doing in the other room right now, it's kind of cool. It's classy, right? I don't see myself as a person who's into the fancy, flashy stuff, right? But I like it, right? What also stood out with me? You
started it. You started the ball. I'm sorry to keep acknowledging you, but I mean, you're the one who gave birth to it, and now it's a self-perpetual type of thing, and it's taken a life on its own almost.
With the ball, I can't even take credit for that, because that was not my idea. That was I give myself credit for listening when smart people talk, right? Okay. And I learned that my goal was never to really be the boss. I always want to be a leader. And one thing I believe about leadership is the most important thing you could say to your team is, what do you think? And that's what I ask all the time. I assume I don't have all the answers. Right. And then what happens is you're in a meeting. What do you think? Oh, I think it'd be great if you had a ball. And I'm thinking, my first instant thought, honestly, was maybe this is something the ladies might appreciate more than the men, like the getting dressed up and all that. I'm just a guy who can just be wearing sweats and watch football all day, right? Whereas it was the ladies on the team who said, yeah, oh, that would be so nice, and we can have flowers, you got this or that. And I was like, okay, let's do it. I'll bring home the bacon, y'all cook it up, and then I do get credit for it, but I cannot take credit for it all. I can't take credit for any of it. I walk in the room sometimes, and I'm surprised. I'm like, whoa, this is nice. I had nothing to do with that. So without a great team, you can't be a great person without a great team, in my opinion. Or you can't really explore the depths of your greatness.
It's like you're very aware of when to get out of the way.
Yeah, you got it. You have to know that.
You push the ball and you get it going, and then you're like, okay, now you guys roll with it, and that's what's going to happen. And you just kind of like let things take shape as they naturally should, which is a beautiful thing. I know you got a lot more to do, but is there anything else you want to leave us with as a parting shot?
last shot. First off, I'm glad you came out, brother. And
Thank you.
you are welcome to any convention,
Thank
100% free.
Thank
you just let me know.
Oh, thank you.
I'm glad you're here. For the first thing.
that.
Second thing is, I think that if we keep it simple, and you remember that love is the most powerful force in the universe.
Amen.
I think if you lead with love in what you do, that will solve a lot of equations and help you figure a lot of things out. And I think that gives you a type of strength and power that only God can provide, because you know God is love. So that's what I would encourage people to do. Whatever you love, you will fight for. Whatever you love, you will accomplish. Whatever you love, you will support, protect, and defend. You can create out of love. So I think that's a great word to start every day with.
Yeah, that's powerful. Thank you, Dr. Watkins. I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
All right. Excellent. Good to see you again, man.
Likewise. Thank you for tuning into the show. If you enjoy this podcast, make sure to subscribe to hear more compelling shows on Rhythm of Life, and keep an eye out for our upcoming series of how we as a society oftentimes incentivize all the wrong behavior here in the United States. We see this in the healthcare industry, in the media, and in our educational systems, to name a few of the fields we will be covering. If you'd like to check out the Black Business School and save money on their wide array of excellent courses, there's a link below in the show notes. And they have wonderful courses for investing, for wealth creation, for starting your own business, real estate, as well as selling stock options. And they also have wonderful courses for children, starting at the toddler age all the way up through teenage years, to get them started early with their proper mindset for building wealth as they move forward in their journey. And if you're really committed to taking your health to the next level, I highly recommend Purium. Their products are incredible. I've been taking them for years and give them to my kids. They provide increased energy levels, improved digestion, deeper sleep, weight loss transformation, cleansing transformation. You can create lean muscle. Anything you want to do with your health, they have excellent products, because what you put in your body really, really matters. We use Can't Beat This in our home, the beet powder that gives natural energy boosts, and my 2 teenage athlete kids use it on a regular basis, and I feel good about giving them these products because most energy drinks are horrible. Anyway, there's an affiliate link down below, or you can just type in the code RandL, that's RANDL. And you can save money by using our link, $50 off your first purchase. And also, if you purchase more than $200, you get a 25% discount. Highly recommend Purium. If you have a moment, please leave a rating and review so more people can hear about us, and share about Rhythm of Life on social media, and like us on Facebook. Thanks for listening. I'm Steve Ordower.
This has been a Rhythm and Light production.